Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Kaisa. I'm 28 and I come from Tartu. And these three facts are probably the most certain ones I will be sharing about myself tonight. Okay, clicking doesn't work. Okay, this is me, 3 years old. Very sneaky, isn't it? So the rest of the facts actually get a little fuzzy for me. And I'm going to explain you why. Has any one of you actually had the trouble answering the question, so what do you do? Raise your hand. Oh, thank God I'm not the only one. So I find this is one of the toughest questions that one can ask me. Firstly, it usually depends on the context that the person is asking this, that you need to figure out, so what do I actually do? And secondly, the trouble for me is that people expect short answers, and I'm not very good at giving short answers to compile it all together in one nice, neat little sentence. But I'll try. So in short, I'm an artist, a poet, a handcrafter, a training specialist, an actress, a singer, a freelance designer, a jewelry maker, a musician, a writer, and my favorite one for the time being, I'm a wannabe product marketeer. So see my problem here? It's not very simple answering that short question. I love my life, but sometimes I wish that I could somehow more easily condense this one big package into one small and neat little answer. And again, when I think about it, all the choices that I've made, I'm happy that I'm here where I am right now and that I've had the chance to hop from all these different types of things that I've done in my life to get to this moment in my life. So I would have never dreamed 10 years ago that I would be standing here today, giving this speech, trying to inspire people, with a small hope in my heart that somebody, anybody in this room leaves today thinking that, yes, I can do it. I can do whatever she's doing there, right in front of there, and I can do it easily. The road here hasn't been easy for sure. And for me, it's meant that I've needed to overcome a lot of my fears and misconceptions about life. I guess that's one of the things that I want to talk about today. So, first off, okay, what does learning by doing mean? And secondly, how to overcome your own fear for the unknown. Because to me, life is a lot about staying true to yourself and being bold in accepting all these opportunities that get handed down to you. And making the best out of it. As they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Easy, right? And don't turn into a sourpuss and whine about it. Because you can make anything out of nothing, if you want to. I can't pride myself like a lot of people in Estonia that I have a great educational background. Honestly said, I have 2 unfinished university degrees. So what does that say about me? But what I can pride myself for is always giving 110% in whatever job I have gotten and turning it into something that I really, really like and finding opportunities out of there. So yeah, going after it. And it takes a lot of courage, lots and lots of it. So let me tell you how it all began. When I was 6, I was sure I wanted to learn the piano. By the time I was 8, I hated it. It's a very easy fact. You never know what you want to do when you're 6 years old. Regardless of the fact that the piano lessons took most of my time, at the age of 12, I decided I needed to go and study art. So I attended an art school. It lasted for about 3 years, at which point my parents made me choose art or music, because there was never enough time to actually handle 3 schools at the same time. But I still did try it. And when the choice came to me, that was the first time when I chose music over everything else. And I kept on going to the music school for about when I was 17. So it took me about 11, 12 years to not graduate it, by the way. Another fun fact about me. So when I got to 9th grade, I was certain I'm going to be an architect. Being a math geek, that was a beautiful combination of arts and numbers. So it made perfect sense, right? Little did I know that this choice will guide my life for the next 5 years coming after that. So yeah, I have a whole speech prepared here. Sorry for that. So 2 days after I graduated high school, I moved to Tallinn. I literally had like 60 euros in my pocket and a dream of becoming an architect. There was no other option. I knew that the schools where I can study architecture are here in Tallinn, so I needed to get here and get here fast because I wanted to get out of my house anyway. But for a while, I think the best day of my life up to that point was the day when I found out that I actually got into the university. I went to study architecture. Sure, I needed to work a side along, but architecture was the dream. And not for long, for about 2 years later, my lack of physics caught up with me. It turns out arts and numbers is not the only thing you need to know if you want to become an architect. You also need to know how to do construction calculus, which I didn't know. So there's not much sense in sending an architect into this world that would build a house on a toothpick. I think it would be a horrible outcome, what would come from there. Moving on, I started working as a receptionist in a hairdresser salon. My first contacts with customer service and sales. Selling things, if you know what it means, it gives you a nice schooling and background. From there on, I was an on-the-phone information chick in Elion, answering to the phone, helping old ladies figure out what their friend numbers are. Again, another lesson on customer service and patience. And after that, I ended up in Skype. Skype, it's a magical world. It was a real startup for me, and I didn't know, but yet it happened. It consumed me for the years after that. I started in Skype as a customer service agent, a very non-glamorous job, if you know what I mean. For somebody that dreamed to be an architect, answering to phones and also answering to emails, it's not a type of thing that you would think that you want to end up in. At least I didn't. I was sure that by that time I'll be an architect already. But it had its glow. There was something techie about it. It was awesome because of the crowd and the people that were surrounding me, and it had an international flair. By that time, Skype was not that known yet in the world, but I knew there was something in there that I needed to figure out. So I thought to myself, welcome to the future, baby. This is where it's going to be. I'm going to be famous, I'm going to do everything. This is the place where I'm going to create my career. It took me about 1.5 years to figure out I'm bored. Customer service wasn't really my thing, and I started wanting something more to do. So I decided, and note that I need to start training. My first day at Skype, the whole training that they actually had was telling you, here's your table, here's your chair, here's the computer, and start answering. I think 3 days in, after I had joined Skype, I wrote a long letter to my boss saying, what is wrong with this company and why don't you have any training? So it became my mission to change this world of non-training. And 1.5 years in, I think that was the time when Skype kind of actually got big as well. We had millions and millions of users, so there needed to be somebody that was teaching the newbies that came on board. So yeah, that's when I welcomed teaching into my life. I had zero experience in what it actually meant to train somebody. But I overdid that with all the enthusiasm in the world. I knew that if you explain something well, they will get it, I'm sure of it. It took me for about 3 or 4 years being in Skype to come up with all the training materials for Skype billing and payments. From credit cards to PayPal, from money bookers to bank transfers, from retail vouchers to prepaid cards. You name it, I wrote it. For the book lovers, it's about 1,000 pages long novel that I covered in that time. I literally destroyed rainforest worth of paper at the time. I even have proofs of pictures where I had like this pile of papers when I was moving on from one location in the office to another one. But I was there, I was helping people, I was mentoring them, teaching them, supporting them, all things that I actually excel at. And plus patience, that's the best part of it. It helped me keep the design flair alive as well and spare some time for music, which both of those passions have been with me for a long time. I got my technical trainer certificate 4 years later. For those that have kids in the school, I don't know how many there are, it literally means I was winging it for the first 4 years. Just based on my intuition, I came up with ideas that I thought would work. Being in a room in front of a class, you probably know the moment when it gets boring, so you don't want to cross that one. And just learning and doing, and that's the best part, how you can actually teach yourself to be a teacher as well. So yeah, most of my knowledge came from the people around me, from reading different things, from my own experience in school, what I liked, what I didn't like. So if you want to, and sometimes it even meant standing in front of a class and being the clown. As long as you could make them laugh, they would figure out what you wanted to say to them. And repetition also is the mother of all knowledges. But the skill of teaching myself things through learning by doing, it hasn't really gone anywhere. Sure, I don't have a university degree, and honestly said, I beat myself up for that for years and years. But looking back now, and honestly looking back now on that, I realized that's not the most important part. Yeah, sure, it helps you along the way, but if you want to do something, you can do it, even without the papers, as long as you're convincing while doing it. So yeah, what matters is being open to it, having the courage to take the first step in, or the leap of faith into something unknown. And my favorite saying throughout these years in Skype was, fake it till you make it. It worked, it has helped me a lot. I can't count all the times when I've had to stand before a crowd and convince them that something is true just by being confident and bold about it. Sometimes it meant going from black to white or white to black. So yeah, let me see. So yeah, here's a great example. How many of you think that I have stage fright? You can raise your hand. Surprise! When it comes to that, I'll let you in on a secret. I actually have serious stage fright. I'm happy it doesn't show, but I still do have it. And over the years, it kind of dims down, but you never really get rid of it. So there are ways how to get over it. For me, karaoke was the key. After suffering through a horrible singing contest in like 7th grade, I literally couldn't sing for years and years, not even to my friends. I wasn't playing the piano. The piano playing was just for myself. I had some couple of songs at home that I was playing, but when it came down to actually performing to somebody, I started shivering and then nothing came out of it. And still to this day, I actually have these occasions when this fear or stage fright can drive me to tears. You wouldn't believe it, but there are moments, trust me. So yeah, it consumes me. It kind of is like this moment when you don't think about it, it's not a problem. But at the moment when everything becomes real and you know you have to come in front of a stage, that's the time when it's time to get scared. But you can't get scared when you're in front of a crowd, so you have to just push through it, right? Think of it as if you're in a news show. That's what karaoke singing was for me. Everything that you needed to say was written in front of you. You just needed to build up the courage to say the words out loud, right? So that's where it actually started. And this here today is not much different. Thanks to that, to karaoke then, to karaoke. 10 years later, I've had 4 different bands. Some of them you can see here. I've acted in a rock opera show. I've acted in different movies, and I actually have some awesome songs as well, if anyone's interested, so I can let you hear them. Because the karaoke today, it comes from within me. I know what I've done in my life, so it's easy to talk about these things. It's the unknown that actually gets you scared. And the fear comes also from the fact that you're always standing there, you're putting yourself out there, you're afraid of people judging you, the things that you're saying, the way how you're acting, the way how you're looking. And the only way to overcome that, actually, is to embrace it. You are who you are. There's no one else as unique as you are in this world, and everybody has their own ways of doing things. So, heck with it. What you think of me? Leave it to yourself or spread it to the world. As they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity, I hope. So yeah, nowadays, I draw my courage from inside. The things that I know, the things that I talk about. That and a shot of Jägermeister every now and then. For my voice, of course. Okay. Slide thing is confusing. All right, fast forward from training specialist to coordinator, another scary experience. Imagine going from being responsible for 10 people's education to thousands overnight. Yeah, and even though it no longer was me who was training these people, it still meant for me that I needed to take care of all these people where needed to be in certain places at certain times. Think of it as a kindergarten management. You need to make sure the kids get across the street, right? So in that sense, Skype has been generous to me in a lot of different ways. And I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about the opportunities, the challenges that it has pushed in front of me. As in life, you need to take what comes at you and you need to make the best out of it, right? And the opportunities are the things that actually make you successful. It's not the way how you handle them straight on. It's the way how you overcome it over a longer period. You need to accept them, notice them, and make them your own. Give them your own face if you need to. There are many things in life that I haven't accepted as my own, and sure enough, I'm certain that there are other people in this room as well that have no clue what they want to do with their life. You can probably see that from my career as well. I've been hopping around quite a lot, right? And I'm pretty certain of that as well, that it won't change in the next few years. And even when working for Skype, the greatest startup in Estonia at the time, I still felt like, I don't know if I can do this. It's a big company. A lot of people rely upon us. Can I write the next best teaching material? Can I convince these agents to go out there, be bold, and answer questions with whatever answers come? I didn't know that. So you can easily turn these opportunities against you. Spoil them, not learn from them. Give up, move on if you wanted to. I didn't, but you can. And you can easily let the busy lifestyle consume you, make you forget your dreams. Pass them on, delay them until greater circumstances come along. A great example. Remember that art school that I attended when I was like in 3rd grade? Guess what? It turns out art is my passion. Now I know that. I just can't be without it. And for years I worked against it, telling myself what every normal parent would tell their artistic children. You can't make money with art. But if art is what actually makes you happy, then there is no other way than to continue being creative, finding creative things in the things that you're doing. And this creativity doesn't go away even if you try to suppress it by doing a boring thing like answering emails. And yeah, it makes you restless if you don't find a way how to express it. So I guess I haven't been very successful at suppressing it yet. Need to figure that one out. So in Skype, my outlet was designing the workbooks for trainings, drawing diplomas, dyeing my own hair purple numerous times, even to the extent that my boss gave me an ultimatum, don't go any more purple or I fire you. Naturally, I didn't hear. But I didn't get fired either. That's where spunk comes in. Then there was event organizing for Skype Garage, an internal innovation community that came after event coordination. It's similar to Garage 48 weekends that we have here in Estonia and the rest of the world that Lise was talking about. We had to do that internally, or actually, let me rephrase that. I had to do that internally. Without any technical background whatsoever. So what did I know about building an innovation community? But again, it turns out you don't need to be techie to run an event. You can do that for sure if you convince people that it's going to be a great event. You can get lots and lots of friends. You can get your idea across. And if you're confident in doing that, then they believe it as well. So when I was organizing these events, I got to design roll-up banners, trophies, all the fun stuff, diplomas for people. Again, I found this creative part of it, or the creative flair in event organizing that was my face for the time being in there. So by the end, when I actually left Skype, I had to say goodbye to a 300-person community, and I had tears in my eyes because they believed in what I was doing. And even when we were doing it here in Estonia, when I went to Redmond, to US, to the Microsoft Corporation, I had people that I didn't know come up to me saying, hey, you're Kaisa, you're from Skype Garage, I know you because you spam me like with newsletters day in, day out. So they knew what Skype Garage was, even when I was a tiny speck here in Tallinn sitting in my own corner and thinking that nobody knows me. So yeah, over the years, even if it wasn't part of my job, the fact that I volunteered for doing it and showed creativity and passion for it, people looked the other way. What they saw was a creative design person that was selling them some sort of a product that sounded convincing because I was just saying it confidently. So yeah, this design passion of mine, yeah, let me try that. Okay, better. This design passion of mine has turned into a company that I now call Self Designs. And I create jewelry out of things that little children play with. I draw illustrations. I want to give out my own children's book, for instance, one day. And I still do a poster or two or a logo or something that's maybe not so inspiring for somebody that has an artistic background. And one really crazy example of what you can do when you are a creative person is try to turn 50,000 plastic beads into a small dress with blinking lights. Hello, dress, one of my Garage 48 projects, for instance. And why did I do it? Just because I can. Why not? It's a crazy thing. It looks like me. So my inner ambition is to do things that make me happy, that are creative, that are kind of like drawing fantasy worlds into this boring thing that we have going on around here. I want to make other people happy and see some beautiful things. And getting there, it just takes perseverance, sticking to it, going back to the drawing board even when you don't know what you want to draw. Sometimes drawing one line can be a start of something extremely beautiful. You never know that before you haven't taken the first step. And it takes belief and courage. Courage to be different, to have your own say, have your own words, have your own visual language to show to the world. Not to go down the safe route of saying, hey, I don't know, I will never become a designer because I don't have a paper in my pocket. I used to do that. There's no point in there. Once you embrace it, it's yours to keep and nobody can take it away from you. And it takes also a lot of courage to learn from others, hear some criticism, figure out what they see in you. Sometimes hearing what other people say about you can be very surprising as well. I remember my last day in Skype. I got a book with things written in there. And by that time, I had thought that I'm this depressing, tired person that was working in Skype, lost all its enthusiasm, and nothing was there. Well, guess, surprise, everybody saw me as the sunshine of the office. I never knew that I was laughing so much around people, that I was doing something for them. It was unknowing. It just somehow came out of me. So that's one of those things where I say out to everyone that try to fearlessly be yourself. As I said, there's only one you. Nobody can say how you should be. Are you okay? Yeah, me too, me too. And there's no such thing as some people being more luckier than others or magically have more skills. Yes, talent, of course. But if you don't nurture your talent, the talent is wasted on you. There's no point in keeping it. And to me, it comes down to noticing opportunities again. The fact of the matter is that you can do anything creatively that you want to, be it training, selling things, event management, and sometimes even marketing. So, which brings me to the last part of my journey. That wannabe product marketeer part that I was telling you about. After 8.5 amazing yet dead tiring years in Skype, I moved on to another company called Fleep. They build chat for teams and businesses. And they were happy to have me as part of their family. The joke in this kind of little incident is that the way how I actually got the job. Basically, I went to say hello to my former colleagues and ask how they're doing. And 5 minutes later, they were asking me, so what are you doing? Wouldn't you want to come work for us? 2 days later, it was decided. I had joined Fleep. I say wannabe marketeer because I've never done anything in the marketing field. And honestly, to me, it's surprising that somebody even wanted me to come and do marketing for them. I don't know what they were thinking. And this marketing thing, probably I've done it unknowingly while I was doing event coordination. Some of these things like newsletters, blogs, just being out there, open, and figuring out a brand for Skype Garage, that had something to do with it. But I hesitate to call myself a proper marketeer yet. All jokes aside though, this for me was yet one of those opportunities that you needed to notice, that you needed to take on board and let yourself have like kind of this leap of faith moment. Go with it. You don't know where this road is going to take you, right? And convincing yourself, how hard could it be? I mean, every one of us knows how to Facebook and tweet a little, right? That's already a good starting point for being a marketeer. And pardon to all of those that actually have studied marketing, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. But what I'm saying is that you don't need that university degree or paper or even previous knowledge sometimes to go after these things that get presented to you. Which brings me back to where we started. Learning by doing and courageously taking on board whatever life throws at you. Never think that you can't do it. Where there's a will, there's always a way. And usually, the journey is the best part in there. Like the ways how you get there, the things that you read, how you progress over time, what are the challenges that come upon you, how you handle them. Regardless of the situation, that's something that I believe in. So, there are 3 things that I'd like you all to take with you. First, you don't need a university degree to work your way up in technology or design field. I can't say for anything else because I've never been in other situations, but definitely for these 2, because the degree will help you to a certain extent. But if you don't have passion or idea or an enthusiasm behind it, it's wasted on you. And most of all, you need to be open-minded, persistent, keep showing up even when you're scared the hell out of it. And you gotta believe in yourself. There's so much information out there, regardless of the topic, be it then teaching how to do HTML or websites or marketing or training or even design, for instance. Like Lise was talking about photoshopping her own pictures. I did that too. And I've even done websites. When I was 17 years old, a company here in Tallinn hired me to do their website. They bankrupted a year later, I hope. I hope not because of me, because I have no clue what they had in their mind when they asked me to do the website. Secondly, show up and do the work. Progress yourself, challenge yourself, and don't expect things to be handed down to you. It's not going to be that easy. You need to step up yourself as well and take the first step towards the road, and things will start coming at you. You just need to notice them and embrace them. And yeah, sometimes getting started, you don't need much for it. Just a simple thing in your head that keeps on whining, hey, you need to do art. Find some places where to do art. And last but not least, fearlessly stay true to yourself in whatever you do. You are your own brand and mirror to the world, and people will more likely take you at your face value as you are than expect you to be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect person. Everybody makes mistakes. Fails will happen, as you heard already. So own your own inner ambition and dreams and make them into a reality. Thank you.